All right. Tomfoolery with Norcalrc. What's under the hood? A 6S capable Outcast4s. Follow along to see if we can get that 6S system to work in this 4S rig. Well, I just had my moment of truth on the upgrade of my 4S Outcasts to a 6S Outcast. And the motor fit, and the power module slid in place. And I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this sucker back together so I can rip it. All right, ESC is in place. That's the BLX 185 6S capable with the 2050 motor, kV motor. Oh, sorry, shadows there. I gotta put the brace back in the top, put a couple shocks on the back, and a wheel nut, and be ready to rip. Okay, really though, is this gonna be a good idea? I mean, those axles look pretty strong, but I don't know. So as we're all aware, the stock Arrma shocks on the 3 and 4S line have some issues. Mine haven't leaked so much as broke. So here's what I'm going for, a replacement for the back. I'd be off Italian 6S, lengthwise comparable.
Okay, so I'll put one of the shocks back together for you. Start with a new rod here. Put your piston on, stock piston on there. Yeah, nut on top, washer on the bottom. Bring it back over to your shock housing, shock body. Put that sucker through, make sure you got that lube before you stick it through so you don't blow out your bearing, right? So after I got that in, I want to put my shock rod in on, so usually I'll hook onto the nut inside on the piston with your little tool. And then take your rod in, whichever one you have. This one happens to be this unit here. Nice aluminum M4 job I got off Amazon. And get that sucker tightened up, you know? Nice and tight. Okay. So, reassembled. Next, hitting up with my shock oil. Team Lozy Racing.
35, going soft. Go ahead and fill that bad boy up, just about to the top. You're gonna want to cycle that junk up and down a few times, getting air bubbles out. All right, and then I generally like to let mine sit for 10-15 minutes to get the air bubbles out. Basically on the fill level, you're looking like that, right? So in the interest of time, I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you got the shock oil, or air bubbles out of the shock oil. Go ahead and bring your piston basically all the way up. And as you're laying this on to get it sealed, you want to be pulling down. Yeah. You pull down as you're doing that. That sets the bladder up top. And then you can go ahead, tighten her up and cycle it a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what you should get. See that? Should rebound back out with no problem about at least halfway. Once again, easy enough to push all the way down. Self-rebounding slowly about halfway. That's where I have my sweet spot on my shocks. I don't know how you do it, but for what it's worth. You definitely want to clean your shock up as good as you can. That way if it starts leaking later, you can see it better. And you just want to go ahead and put your spring back on. Get your spring retainer cut back in there. And Bob's your uncle. There's your shock. Shocking. Well, the Outcast4s is back on 6 hours.